Do people say that your map looks generic? Ordinary? Well, slap those people, because in 5 minutes I will show you how to get from this to this, using UI's post-processing and volumetric fog, which you can create some really beautiful levels with. This is a map I got from the UnrealEngine market for free. You can download it as well, link in description. I deleted all its lighting and post-processing that came with it, and put in only the default settings which you have when you create a new level. First, let's reduce the light a bit because it pretty hurts. This is the direct light, which is practically our sun. You can play with its location by pressing left Ctrl plus L. Just move it until it reaches a point in the scene which you like. Now let's add our post-processing. Basically, it's camera effect, and we can do some really cool things with it that I will show you right here. First, let's activate infinite boundaries, so it will affect our entire level. Second, let's change the exposure settings, so I'll be able to explain things a bit quicker. If I'm keeping it at default and want to show you, for example, what happens when I move this, it will take a long time for the effect to happen. So for now, let's scale it up so the lighting effects will happen instantly. We will be back to post-processing in a second, but before that we need to add two other things that will make our scene a lot more special. Start by adding a volumetric cloud. Basically, it adds clouds to our sky, and by that also affects the lighting a bit, and things like water as well, since it's reflecting the sky. Now let's add high fog. Basically, it adds fog to our scene, as you can see, and we can play with its density. But what we really want here is to turn it into volumetric fog. It takes a bit more performance, but what it does is that our lighting in the scene can actually affect this fog. And then we can do some really cool things, like create guard rays and many things like that. And as you can see, I can play with its density, high fall off, and even with its colors. Now let's back to our post-processing, and I'll show you what are my most usable settings and how are they affecting our scene. First, bloom. Bloom adds that blurry effect that you can see on your screen. I'm not recommending to use that too much, because sometimes it can create some really unreal looking effects, in a bad way. As for the exposure, we talked about it before. It's pretty self-explained, just adjust it until you like how it looks. Second, chromatic aberration. It's kinda hard for me to put what it does in words, but you can see it on your screen. With the offset you can control where the effect begins. Dirt mask. It adds this really cool effect on your camera based on the texture that we put right here. I will use the water texture since you all have it in your UI starter content, but you can use every texture that you want and do some really wild things with it. And by the way, any texture works, as you can see right here. Lens flares. We can use it to create those cool looking rays. But you need to be pretty careful with those, because every light affects them. So for example, if you have a shiny boss attack or fire with emissive color, it will make those flares as well. As you can see, we can play with its intensity, tint, size, threshold, and even shape. Image effects. We have here vignette and sharpen. Vignette creates this darker frame, and sharpen makes the picture, well, sharper. I wouldn't use it most of the time, because it kinda kills part of the immersion you have in game. Now we got to the color grading settings. This is really where you just need to play with those settings until it fits your eyes. There's not much to explain here, or any recommended settings. It really does depend only on you and your own preferences. So as I said, just play with it. You can do some really cool things, as you can see right here. After adjusting everything, it's time for the final touch. Let's add some extra light to our scene, to add an extra layer, maybe add some little fogs which you can find countless tutorials in YouTube for, and we are done. Now our level looks less generic, but in order for our game to be unique, we need to create our own animation. It's super easy and you can learn it under 5 minutes by clicking this video right here. Or if you want to know about the amazing tools we get in UI 5.4 update, click right here. Like, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.